Welcome back to Guitar Theory Modules. This is Module 25, and we're on page 71 through 74. We're starting a new section of Guitar Theory Modules. You've learned about intervals, major scales, key signatures, and chords. Starting in this module, we're going to combine all that knowledge and start learning about chord progressions. In this section of Guitar Theory Modules, we're going to alternate between book knowledge and practical application. So in one module, you'll learn how to write a new chord progression, and in the following module, you'll learn how to play that chord progression in any key, anywhere on the fretboard. In a major scale, the one chord, or the tonic, is the chord that feels most at rest. And you'll find that the one chord is usually the first and last chord of a song. The five chord, or the dominant, leads to the one chord, and in music theory terms, we say that the five chord, or dominant, resolves to the one chord, or the tonic. Here's a chord progression in C major. C is the one chord. A minor is the sixth chord, D minor is the two chord, and G is the five chord, or dominant. Now that G chord feels unstable, like it needs to go somewhere. It needs to resolve to one, or the tonic. Here's another chord progression in C. C is the one chord, A minor is the sixth chord, D minor is the two, G is the five, and then the one. And this progression feels complete because that dominant chord resolved to the tonic chord, or the one chord. Check out the numbers under these chords. The numbers refer to each chord's place in the major scale. And this progression is in the key of C major, which means that each chord comes out of the C major scale. And in this progression, the C is the one chord, the D minor is the two chord because it's built on the second scale degree of C major, and so forth. C is one, D minor is two, F is built on four, and G is built on five, and one. And that resolution from the dominant to the tonic is called a 5-1 progression. In classical music theory, this harmonic movement is called an authentic cadence. In non-classical theory, we just call it 5-1. And since this is more for non-classical musicians, I'm going to go by the numbers in this book. Now, when we talk about the 5-1 progression, the 5 is the chord built on the fifth scale degree of whatever scale you happen to be in, and the 1, of course, is built on the first scale degree of whatever scale you happen to be in. We've been using the key of C major for our musical examples, but the information applies to all keys. So here's some progressions in other major keys that end with the 5-1 progression. In F major, of course, F is the one chord, G minor is the two chord, B flat is the four chord, and here's our 5-1. C is 5 in F, and then, of course, back to 1. In A major, of course, A is the one chord, B minor is 2, D is the four chord, and here's our 5-1 progression, E, A. On top of page 74, we have this 5-1 exercise 1. You're given a key signature in each measure. Your job is to write the name of the major key above the key signature, and then write the name of the 5 chord and the 1 chord. When we go through the answers, I'm going to show you how to find the 5 chord by building out the scales and triads like we did in Module 23. If you have Guitar Theory modules, you can write your answers right there in the book and check your work on page 219. If you don't have Guitar Theory modules, you can write this out on a piece of paper. And whether you have my book or not, if you're going to be building out the scales and triads, you're going to need some manuscript paper, and I have some free manuscript paper you can download from my website. I'll leave a link for that in the description. Number 1 is already done for you. 1 sharp in the key signature puts us in the key of G major. we can build out a G major scale and its triads and discover that D is the 5 chord. So our 5-1 progression is D, G. Number 2, 3 flats in the key signature puts us in the key of E flat major. Of course, E flat major is the 1 chord. We can build out the E flat major scale and its triads and find that B flat major is the 5 chord. So our 5-1 progression in E flat major is B flat, E flat. Number 3, there is no key signature. That puts us in the key of C major. C is our 1 chord. We build out that C major scale and its triads, and G is our 5 chord. So our 5-1 progression in the key of C major is G, C. Number 4, 2 sharps in the key signature puts us in the key of D major. Write out the D major scale and its triads. D, of course, is the 1 chord, and then A is the 5 chord. A, D is our 5-1 progression. Number 5, 3 sharps in the key signature puts us in the key of A major. Write out that A major scale and its triads. A is the 1 chord, E is the 5 chord. So our 5-1 progression in the key of A major is E, A, 5-1. Number 6, 2 flats in the key signature puts us in the key of B flat major. Write out the B flat major scale and its triads. B flat is the 1 chord, F is the 5 chord. So our 5-1 progression in the key of B flat major is F, B flat, 5 and 1. Number 7, 5 sharps in the key puts us in the key of B major. Write out the B major scale and its triads. B is the 1 chord, F sharp is the 5 chord. So our 5-1 progression in the key of B major is F sharp B, 5-1. Number 8, 1 flat in the key signature puts us in the key of F major. Write out the F major scale and its triads. F is the 1 chord, C is the 5 chord. So C to F in F major is 5-1. And number 9, 4 flats in the key signature puts us in the key of A flat major. Write out the A flat major scale and its triads. A flat is the 1 chord, E flat is the 5 chord. So our 5-1 progression in the key of A flat major is E flat, A flat, 5-1. At the bottom of page 74, we have this 5-1 exercise 2. You're given the name of the 5 chord in one column. Your job is to name the major key to which each 5 chord belongs. The major key is going to be either a perfect 5th below or a perfect 4th above the root of the 5 chord. If you have guitar theory modules, you can write your answers right there in the book and check your work on page 219. If you don't have guitar theory modules, you can write this out on a piece of paper. And if you need some manuscript paper to work any of this out, go ahead and download that free manuscript paper from my website. And again, the link is in the description. I'm going to go over the answers now, so pause the video, write your answers, start the video, and check your work. If the 5 chord is B flat major, we take the root of the B flat major chord, the B flat, and lower it a perfect 5th or raise it a perfect 4th, and find ourselves on an E flat. So our major key is E flat major. If the 5 chord is A major, we take the root of that chord, the A, lower it a perfect 5th, or raise it a perfect 4th, we find ourselves on a D. We are in the key of D major. If your 5 chord is C major, we take the root of that chord, the C, lower it a perfect 5th, or raise it a perfect 4th, find ourselves on an F. We are in the key of F major. If your 5 chord is D major, we take that D, lower it a perfect 5th, or raise it a perfect 4th. We find ourselves on a G, so we will be in the key of G major. If the 5 chord is F sharp major, we take the F sharp, lower it a perfect 5th, or raise it a perfect 4th. We land on a B, so that puts us in the key of B major. If your 5 chord is E major, you take that E, lower it a perfect 5th, or raise it a perfect 4th, and find yourself on an A, so we are in the key of A major. If your 5 chord is A flat major, you take the A flat, lower it a perfect fifth, or raise it a perfect fourth. Find yourself on a D flat. We're in the key of D flat major. If your 5 chord is B major, you take that B, lower it a perfect fifth, raise it a perfect fourth. You're in the key of E major. If your 5 chord is D flat major, you take that D flat, lower it a perfect fifth, or raise it a perfect fourth. You find yourself on G flat, so we are in the key of G flat major. If your 5 chord is E flat, you take that E flat, lower it a perfect fifth, or raise it a perfect fourth. We find ourselves on A flat. We are in the key of A flat major. If your 5 chord is F major, you take that F, lower it a perfect fifth, or raise it a perfect fourth. Find yourself on B flat. We are in the key of B flat major. And finally, if your 5 chord is G major, take that G, the root of the chord, lower it a perfect fifth, or raise it a perfect fourth. You find yourself on C. That puts us in the key of C major. Your assignment for this module is simply to get in the habit of looking for 5/1 progressions in the music you play. The most common place to find a 5/1 progression is at the end of a song or the end of a major section of music like the bridge or chorus or verse. Once you spot a 5/1 progression, play those chords a few times so you start to learn what a 5/1 progression sounds like. Don't forget to check out my book, Guitar Theory Modules. Of course, you can watch all these videos for free, but if you have a copy of Guitar Theory Modules, you'll have all this information in one place. It's going to be a lot easier to follow along. So I'll leave a link in the description. That's all for now. Take your time with this module, and when you're ready, I'll see you in Module 26, where you're going to learn how to play 5/1 progressions in any key, anywhere on the fretboard.